All right, let's quickly talk about energy. The FCCPC, that's the Federal, I never get this name right, Competition Authority, has essentially said, or issued a warning to fuel marketers. There is a quote from the Tunji Bello, who is the Executive Vice Chair, or rather Vice Chairman and Chief Executive of FCCPC, which is the Federal Competition and Protection Commission, saying that essentially fuel marketers, they can't regulate the sector, but they are keeping an eye on fuel marketers who they say don't bring prices down when oil prices fall, which is what we've seen. Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu is with us to touch on that. Thank you so much for joining us, Chika. Good morning to you.
Good to have you today.
Fine, thank you. Hope you have a good weekend.
This is a story in the streets.
Yes, indeed.
That's the question, you know. Everybody knows most Nigerians know about the Strait of Hormuz. It's funny. Most Nigerians...
Google searches and everything have gone up.
A lot of people know about the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, you go to a lot of places now and ask, what is the price of this thing? They say it's Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, people know...
Before it was dollar.
People know what was happening before,
yeah.
And then at the onset, at the peak of the Middle East crisis, oil prices, hugged $120 per barrel. And, like I think there's another story that we have which had to do with interest rates.
Yes.
There's something in banking we'll call arrows and rockets and feathers.
Right.
Rockets and feathers, so immediately the announcement was made, oil price, petrol prices, diesel prices went to the roof.
Right.
And now, with peace coming down to the strait, the strait ships are passing through the channels now. Oil prices have come down to about $3 per barrel, about 40% fall.
Right.
Back to almost to what it was about a year ago. And then still, like snail, the oil petrol prices are just crawling back.
Right.
So Nigerians are wondering whether the regulation is has to do only when the prices go up.
Right.
So if crude oil drop sharply, why is petrol price still very expensive? And that's what the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is talking about. See, we run a deregulated system in the oil and gas industry, and you hear me say every time here that the price of every commodity is determined by the demand and supply.
Yeah.
So it's not for me. I will not come here now and say that anybody should regulate price.
Right.
But the issue is that the FCCPC, says that deregulation does not mean exploitation.
Right.
So their work is, of course, I said we don't know fix petrol prices because we run the market. But businesses must still compete fairly. That's what it's saying, and they cannot exploit consumers or engage in anti-competitive behavior. And then we shouldn't do evidence of profiteering should not exist, and price fixing should not exist. So Nigerians are saying, why? I mean, the straight out of the block, $5 increase in crude oil price, petrol prices get to the roof.
Right.
Now look at the 40% fall. Nothing really has
changed.
Has changed.
Yeah.
So what you will see is every time is we're still reviewing the position. That's what everybody's saying, and that creates substitution for Nigerians.
Yeah.
Whether that is for real. So we're hoping that that will be reflected in the market. So it's not that you hear people say, "Oh, the other things that go into the price of petrol. It's not just the crude." Meanwhile, when the price of crude went up,
they didn't say anything about that. They just went up.
They just went up.
Yeah.
And that's a major thing for Nigeria because, as you know, the price of petrol, permeates the total life of Nigerians.
Yeah.
No matter what they are doing, whether it's the transport, whether it's hotel, everywhere you are, it affects that. And that's the major issue for us here. That's a major story for us here.
Keep monitoring prices. Another thing you cover, of course, is the banking sector. This average maximum rates.
That's when I thought about the issue of we call it rocket and feathers.
Right.
And basically the story here is that the CBN moved the monthly policy rate down from 27 to 26.5. Yeah, from 27 to 26.5. But it took about 3 months for a 0.29% reduction, interest reductions, to happen, by the banks. So how did that happen? So from the fact that it took them 3 months to do that. And that's what they talk about the issue of rockets and feathers.
Right.
In the sense that when there's an increase, it moves like rockets. And when there's a decrease, it keeps floating.
They will send you a letter due to prevailing economic circumstances. Your borrowing rate is going up. The banks will send you a letter.
Because states don't too much. So when the price is coming down, they start like feathers, floating, and they start remembering other things. Then they remember that there's problem of security, there's problem of power, there's problem of infrastructure, and so on and so forth. But when it was increased, it moves up to the roof.
Wow.
And that. So, but the issue, Rotus, is this: who borrows at 34.78?
Right.
It's not a corporate.
Right.
It's not a corporate. The big companies don't borrow at that. The people who borrow at 13.8 are the SMEs, the small manufacturers, the traders, the importers, and the entrepreneurs, and individuals without strong banking relationships.
Right.
Those are the people who suffer these high banking rates.
Yeah.
The bigger businesses don't actually suffer these rates. Indeed, even the prime lending rate actually inched up a little instead of coming down. So the most people who need the affordable loans actually often pay the highest rates. So they will tell you that what are the other issues that affects rate in our economy, and it's not just the fact that the Central Bank of Nigeria moved down the monetary policy rate.
Right.
It's the cost of funds, inflation risk, credit risk, operational costs, which is one major for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Electricity, power again, everywhere. Power, diesel, security, technology, staff costs. All these are still very expensive. And they enter the computation of the final lending rate by the banks.
Chika, you talk about power very quickly. What power investment? You think we can attract power investment? The International Energy Agencies in today's This Day newspaper, this article on $110 billion.
Yeah. I mean, this is where Nigeria is, where you have the highest number of opportunities. Let me use that word. Opportunities for
energy
investment, upstream oil and gas, large gas development projects. And then, the other things have happened, expansion of our refining capacity, petrochemical investment, LNG infrastructure. What has also happened is we no longer, with the coming on stream of the Dangote refinery.
Which was a big investment.
Yeah,
that was a massive $20 billion.
So what's happened now is that Nigeria has been seen to be able for large investment to thrive, commence and complete in Nigeria. So apart from the advantages Nigeria Dangote refinery has given to us in the sense that we have almost complete supply availability of petrol, the queues have gone. Don't worry about the price is going to come down. But the other thing that happened was that it's proven to the world that Nigeria is a fertile ground for energy investment. And that if you come to Nigeria, and make your investment, you can succeed from beginning to end. Just like Dangote refinery, $20 billion thereabout, plus minus. That happened. So again, that we are one of the, I think in Africa, we have the largest reserve for gas.
Right.
And gas is the transition energy from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And what's happened during this period. So Nigeria has it massive. So what's the issue now is that we're hoping that with the opportunities we have, those investments will come in. And there's a different route from the signing MOUs and investments coming
That's
in.
a very good
All the
point.
things that we need to do. So the 110 billion is massive, but the issues, will they land in Nigeria? That's what's important.
Fantastic stuff. All right, business analyst Chika Mbonu, thank you, of course, for taking us through the fuel prices, interest rates, and also energy investments in Africa. I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
so much.